And now, let's head over to the Trail Appliances kitchen.
Well, protein is an important part of a healthy diet, but it can be tricky to know how much we should have on our plate, what kind of protein to look for, how to get it to your kids. That's why Emily Mardell is here. She's a registered dietitian joining us this morning. Good morning, Emily. You've got all kinds of ideas on this, but first, let's just talk about why protein is important.
Protein's important for many reasons. I like to think of it as the builder, the repairer. It really helps with a lot of things from energy stability, helps with mental acuity, concentration. It also helps us feel fuller, longer. So it really gets the most out of any meal when you include protein.
Okay, so what are good proteins we should think of when we're thinking of our diet?
Well, I think in general, if we lean into flexitarian eating, right, so a combination of animal-based proteins and plant-based proteins, that's where I feel like you get the best mix of nutritional density, value, fiber, all those sorts of things. So we really love vegetarian and flexitarian meals. I would say that animal-based proteins give a little bit more zinc, iron, a little bit more protein for the calorie ratio, if you will, right?
Okay.
Like 3 ounces of chicken has about 28 grams of protein,
Sure.
so that's significant, right? When you look at plant-based proteins like pulses, beans, peas, lentils, chickpeas, they're going to give protein as well, but it's packed with more fiber and carbs.
Okay, I want to talk about this, what you have here in front of us, because this is a very cool thing for the fridge or for the pantry.
Yeah, so, when I think about protein, I encourage people to have it at every meal and snack, but sometimes, it's difficult. Put that chicken breast in your pocket. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we need to kind of think outside the box a little bit. I have 3 littles from 6, 9, and 13. So one of the ways I like to support their protein awareness and balance awareness is just through a visual cue. So this is a little container. It's just compartmentalized. It goes in the fridge. I actually have a couple in the pantry too. But the formula that I want them to remember is a protein plus a carb and a color. That's what's going to round out a great after-school snack, a great post-recovery snack, a great anytime I'm just hungry, trying to get through homework snack. This is the formula I want them to replicate. Okay,
that sounds great. So let's talk about options. You've got a lot here on the table, including this wrap that's great for after school.
Yeah, so again, kids, they're kind of behind the 8 ball sometimes because they're not allowed to use the air fryer, they're not allowed to use the microwave, they're not allowed to use the stove. There might be a little bit in between where they need some cold prep items. So again, one of the ways that we can look for protein is actually looking at some items that you might not think of as protein sources. So whether it's certain breads, wraps, you mentioned, there's always a wrap in our weekly routine. We usually plan a couple after school snacks on Sundays.
Okay.
This wrap, as an example, has 13 grams of protein just in the tortilla itself.
Wow.
So it's awesome when it comes to a vegetarian wrap. But what I like to have is whatever you have on hand, I'm just going to use like a little bit of deli chicken. You could use leftover chicken if you happen to have it on hand. Super simple. This is just, my son is obsessed with herby cream cheeses and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah,
so he's getting in on that. Crunch, you will always need crunch. So I like to add at least, some carrot, maybe some bell pepper. Anytime you add vitamin C to a plant protein, you're going to enhance that iron absorption.
Okay.
So you need to pair those up. Some spinach. Spinach goes a long way. And in little doses, it's a great way to get kids to try it as well. So roll them up. Because again, like I said, I have littles and big kids, sometimes I will leave them whole like this, and other times I'll cut them into pinwheels because when my 6-year-old comes home, she might just grab a couple rather than wasting the entire wrap.
Of course. Okay,
right?
Good idea.
Yeah, so it kind of ends up working out for everybody, but absolutely delicious, and I can't lie, I take them to work sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I'm eyeing this up and think, I could probably sneak one out in the commercial break. Emily, we always appreciate your advice. This is very helpful for everybody at home. If you'd like to learn more from Emily, you can follow along at Get Joyful.